Hi, this is Abby. We are going to talk about working mothers. Is it healthy or not? Now, do we know somebody who happened to be working? Your partner, your mother, your sister, or somebody happened to be your friend? Now, at the back of our mind, do we really know or sure? Is it healthy? It might be, or it might be not. What if you are forced to work? Is it still healthy? We'll find out soon with my beautiful guests here. To my exact right, I have Tricia. Hi, Tricia.
Hi, Abby. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
How are you, Tricia?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Elise, of course.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Elise. Working mothers, soon we will talk about.
Yes, exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Farah.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How is everyone?
Good. You're still drinking your beautiful tea?
Yes, hibiscus tea.
Well, do you want to talk? You are a working mother, aren't you?
I'm a working mother, yes.
Is it healthy?
So, as an
Oh my
occupational...
God.
This is your field of work.
This is my field of work.
Yeah.
So, occupational health, generally, our rule is that work is good for you. Whether you're a man or a woman, work is actually good for health.
Sure.
And it's good for your well-being, it's good for a lot of things.
If you love it.
No, you don't even have to love it, really.
Really?
Yeah, you don't have to. Just the activity of doing something, achieving goals, keeping an identity that's separate from other aspects of your life. Career identity, building self-confidence. A lot of aspects of work is good for your health, right? Keeps you occupied. Prevents you from going into depression sometimes, and it doesn't mean that you're, of course, if you're in a toxic work environment, that's a different topic, but we're talking about here just in general. You don't have to love what you do, but work is good for your health, and that's one thing we promote, and that's a difference between
good to keep you working, good to keep you occupied.
Exactly.
Instead of sitting and doing nothing but rumination and
exactly.
other
And
things.
not only that, it adds to your self-confidence, it adds to your identity, and I'm sticking to confidence because I think for working moms, this is where the challenge, or for moms women who are not working because they're home taking care of their kids.
But they are working. If you are a mother in the house, this is a home taking care of your home.
Hey,
that's another job altogether.
Not only that, I used to think that, right?
Yeah.
And I did that. I took a year off from work to take care of my little ones. And first of all, so many problems with that is that I thought it was the best thing to do. I told everyone this is what I wanted to do. I'm taking a year off. I'm going to focus on my family. I'm going to focus on my kids.
Right.
And then after the year, I'm trying to get a job, and I can't get a job.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't.
All the jobs are taken.
No, so apparently, and you know me, I will persist. So I went and I met an HR manager who actually met with me, and he looked at my CV and he basically said, listen, you're a doctor, you're out of work for 6 months, nobody's going to hire you.
Due to your occupation.
Yeah. Because it's not only that. Once you have that gap in your CV, it's harder for you to actually get a job.
They want you on the ball all the time.
All the time, right? And
I never thought about
same
that.
for pilots.
Yeah, exactly.
Same for many other occupations.
Many other occupations, and I mean any occupation.
How about if you are a
them,
neurosurgeon?
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be so technical, but once you're out of a job for very long, that career gap is not looked on well in the HR world, right? So I had to figure out now how to get back in the game, because I'm like, my knowledge is still there. I still know. I was still doing volunteer work, so I've been managing patients, telemedicine and stuff like that, but just not physically with. And then I think one of the greatest challenges was that trying to figure out how to speak to an adult after you've been speaking to kids for a whole year, right? I couldn't remember how to speak to an adult. Like to have a real adult. Yeah, exactly. It's like you have 2 little ones and you're speaking to them. And I couldn't remember how to have an adult conversation. It was really challenging, So again, what I've done with my career, I mean, first fight to get that back, because that was important to me. And then my business was the other thing, that my concept of health and wellness was the other thing that I wanted to work on, which is what I started that year. But that, getting back into the working world, as difficult as it was, it helped reshape my identity as a woman. And I feel as though what I'm doing will impact my children's lives as well, to see that you can be a good mother, you can be there for your family and still work and achieve what you want to achieve, you know, even if it's just a salary at the end of the month to say, well, I'm still making something, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it's just that little bit to say that's mine, you know, that's mine.
Because you form friendships and things at work, you have your own kind of circle, social circle.
Exactly, you have something to talk about. That's other than the two kids.
I also think, I think that mothers go through quite a lot of anxiety. You know, it's the greatest transformation that they'll ever experience, going from being childless to childbearing, and having that responsibility for the rest of their lives. And I think that their whole identity is shaken, and therefore they worry if they're not going to be a good enough mother, if they're going to be a neglectful mother, if their child will be, having experienced all these withdrawal symptoms, or if they're having attachment issues, if what happens if my child is sick and I'm working, etc., etc. And yet, you know, one of the greatest psychologists of the US, John Bowlby, his theory of good enough mother helped calm those fires down, because whatever we do with the right intention and with our love is good enough. That's the
also
best we
can do.
And we teach our children that it's good enough just to show up and do what you can. As a working mother with 2 daughters, I'm rather pleased that my daughters have such a strong work ethic. They saw their mother get up in the morning, get dressed, get them ready, go off to school, say goodbye, love and kisses, go off to work, see them in the afternoon, and life just continued. But also financially, we had to. You know, we were absolutely needing to have both parents working. So when my mental state was calm about going to work was good, friends at work were great, the kids were happy. But if I felt guilt around going to work and not being with the children, my anxiety would go through the roof, the children would feel it, the people at work would feel it. So it all came down to me more than the actual situation and how I feel about myself in this situation.
But I agree with you, but would you have gone off work if your children were 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, where they need you most?
So that was at that time, my daughter was 18 months, and I had just found out that I was pregnant with my son, right? And
so probably that's what pushed you to stay at home for a year.
So no, before I found out I was pregnant, I had already made the decision, to stay for the year, because she was at that age that I wanted to be. I mean, that's my first experiment, right? So it's like I had to do this right, you know. I couldn't leave it to chance, you know. I had to do my best, you know. And so I thought that was the best thing to do. I mean, I don't regret it at all, because that opportunity to get to know her and to learn her, and then the other challenges that came from a difficult pregnancy on top of that. But that's another story again. But the point is that I think looking back, it's part of the journey. It's part of me, you know, finding out different things about myself. I also went through issues in terms of wanting to be someone who she would want, who she would love and who she would respect, while kind of losing myself in the process, because I just wanted to be this person for her. And I kind of lost my own identity. So that was tough. It was really tough, and it took me years to recover. I don't regret it, because it's part of the journey.
But how would you see a person, a mother, going from in the morning, as you said, waking up in the morning, taking care of the kids, kisses and loves, and send them to school or wherever, and then you go to work, you do 8 hours, roughly, averagely, and then you come back, drive back, or take the train, or take the metro, come back home. And once you come back home, then another job, taking care of the children, cooking, unless you order, but nowadays, it's easy. Cling, you know, select all, send home, right? Something like that. But then you have to take care of your partner, because if you don't give enough, you're not going to get enough. And that might create another problem, which is unsuccessful romantic relationships. Don't you see, it's not just one job, it's 2 jobs.
We are superwomen, I'm sorry.
Absolutely,
We are superwomen, and I know hands down, no offense to the men, but men can't do what we do.
Maybe you can, right? maybe.
I don't know, because we take it on. I mean, we have an emotional side.
I need some backup.
So,
Don't look at me, Abby. Don't look at me. You're on your own here.
Oh my God.
We have a lot more factors in play, right? We have a lot more factors in play. And when we do look at a situation, we see the emotional side of it, which sometimes can be a challenge to manage. And when we're managing our own emotions, we're managing that of the kids, the husband, the work. I mean, it's a lot that's happening. For a man though, most men, they're able to use their analytical side and they're like, okay, let's fix this problem. Let's, you know what I mean, like put things in place. But it's just how we're built. We're built differently, you know? So nothing's wrong with that. We all have our advantages and disadvantages.
I agree with you. You might have capacity and capability to do so, and you might your ambitions might be there. But what if somebody who happened to have less of what you're having, half or 80% of what you're having? You said you are a superwoman. What if there is no superwoman? What if there is a woman and she can't keep up with what you're doing?
So
she
nobody can be as crazy as me, right? I get that.
You can either get a maid, which is common here, 2, maybe 3, to help you raising your kids. Is it healthy or not? That's another whole topic.
But it's time management as well, right? It's time, and I've seen it, and it comes from again back where I said at the beginning, where it's that confidence. So a lot of for anybody, once you're out of work for a long time, your self-confidence is going to drop. You're not going to be confident in the workplace anymore. You're going to build up a fear.
So that's the tax you're going to pay.
That's a lot. That's what you're going to pay, and you're going to build up this mental apprehension that I cannot go back to work, right? And you're going to justify it as well. Oh, I have to take care of the kids. I have like young ones. I want to be a good mom, right? I'm not saying that is all valid, but there's a prevention from getting you back to work and getting you back. Part of what I do for my company is support women who were in my shoes, who could not. They've been off from work for a long time. So one of them that alhamdulillah is successful now, 8 years she was home with her kids, and she was trying to get back because the kids were a little bit older now. She's trying to get back in, and so much apprehension. But one day I told her, I'm like, listen, if this is something you really want to do, you will find a way to do it. And I told her, you want to work for me part-time? We can do a freelancing, work whenever you want. You choose your schedule, you do everything. I will help you get back in. But it's just to help her build her confidence. Now, 2 years later, she is in a managerial position in a good company back in the UK. And she's looking back at her life then, and she said to me, I'm actually doing it. I'm doing what I thought could not be done.
Wow. What if this story or similar things happens to a single woman and she chooses, you know what, I'm going to go through this corporate business and I will be upgraded all the way through, and the time passes. Suddenly you become 25 and sometimes later you're 30, 35, 40. Then you have a window to have children. If you go beyond the window, then you can't have children. As simple as that. Then when you come home, let's say you managed to have some managerial position, CEO or something, right? But then when you go home and open that door and you look, oh God, I'm 40 something, nobody's here to support me, nobody's here to look after me. Honestly, I don't have children or descendant of my own. And now what? I might have a partner, maybe yes, maybe no. But
might
isn't
have a laptop that you
maybe exactly.
sit with in the evenings.
Or maybe have a laptop to play with. But don't you find that one day in life you are going to ask yourself, I do really need children and I love children. It's exactly what I'm saying. When you were a teenager, or really, let's go even further than that, when you were a child, you need toys to play with. When you become 15, you don't need the same toys, you need different toys. 25, corporate job or whatever. But then after 40, what kind of toys you want? I'm not literally speaking about toys, I'm talking about, don't I find some gap inside me, spiritual gap? Like there is something, there is an extension of me, happen to be called children. If I don't have those children, how am I going to overcome that?
But I mean, there are a lot of women in that position,
Lots of people don't have children, and they're very happy, and they've made that choice. And some people as you say, ran out of the biological time to have children, but they have a wonderful, fulfilled life, and that's their journey.
And they had the best role. Their auntie, they can borrow and give them back.
Yeah, they do have the best role. But you know,
you can ask them to come and look after your children.
Exactly. Everyone has a role to
Great
play. Right?
babysitters.
But I think we are on a path. We have a journey, and it's built up of many different things. My path as a child was I had a working mother, and she went off to work, highly professional, extremely good at her job, made a lot of money, very wealthy, very well-to-do, you know, highly successful. And I saw that as that's what you do. You get up in the morning and you go to work, and that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what my girls do. They do a totally different thing. They don't go into the corporate world, but they love to work, and they understand the value of work. Yes. I'm not saying for a moment that everyone, you know, would be suffering if they didn't work, but it gives us so much more to work. It gives us our social context, our friends, our brain stimulation, so much more than just going to an office or going to a job.
Especially if it's something you're passionate about. You can spend, you know, even if you do have kids, you can work maybe when they go to bed. You can, if you have the energy.
And they have something to tell you about, and you have something to tell them about.
Yes, you can go teach people or whatever you
So
want
working
to do.
is not wrong. Working mothers, it's totally acceptable.
Yes.
But I love what you normally, both of you say, within moderation. You have to balance it, right?
Correct.
And if you're not if you know that you want some managerial position and you are ready to sacrifice not having children, and you know that you are going to happy, then don't come later on in life and regret it. But to be honest, what I honestly think, once you pass some certain age, you want to see support, you want to see your family, you want to see somebody surrounded by you, surrounding you, happen to called family. Because guess what? Once we get older, we somehow we start falling apart, and we need some love.
But, I mean, that's like our last episode, right, where we spoke about the family and building that family. So it doesn't necessarily have to come from children or bearing our own, but it's about creating that support network that we need, or something.
I'm not sure if someone else can substitute your own children. I mean, I know some people make the decision, you know what, I'm not going to have children. I respect that. Or they can't have children.
Adopting,
but they still can adopt. Exactly.
Yeah, you can adopt.
Helping other children by adopting them is a noble job.
Exactly. And there are a lot of kids who actually need help and need someone to love them and take care of them. There are lots and lots of kids from so many regions of the world that need that love and support. So if this is something that you really want, I mean, there are many options. Of course, it comes with its own challenges, but that's parenting, right?
Even if you have children and you still can adopt and you have a room for it, go for it, right? Because you will be helping somebody.
Exactly. And you're helping generations. Once you help one, you have the capacity to help generations after you. Right. So it's not just about you helping one person. It's a lot more than that.
Absolutely. So if you are working mothers, if you are like Dr. Farah, you're a superwoman. Keep doing what you're doing, because you can work, you can give, you can take care of your family. That's absolutely no. If you can do it, then do it. If you can't do it, then honestly, my personal advice is, before even you enter your corporate work, try to sit down on a pen and paper and bring a pen and a paper and think about, you know what do I want? What do I need? And is this going to work for me? Is this, if I stay a single mother or just a woman without the intention of having a family, children we're talking about, then do it. If you think, no, you know what, I would love to see my own children, then calculate it as early as possible. Now, thank you for watching us. We hope to see you soon. And remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and please share and leave some comments. Bye-bye now.